Okay, so today we will see how we can clean messy data with Python. Okay, and we will learn how to clean CSV files with pandas, okay, by handling missing values, duplicate rows, messy text, wrong data types, mixed date formats, invalid emails, and currency values. Okay, invalid currency values or missing currency values. Correct. So when you are just starting out with the data analysis, one of the first things you learn is how to clean a data set. It sounds basic, but it is one of the most important skills you will learn and you will use again and again. Even as a professional, okay, you will be spending a lot of your time cleaning data. So every time you will be receiving a data, okay, you will be spending your time on cleaning that data. Why? Because raw data is rarely clean. Raw data is always dirty, right? It can have missing values, wrong formats, duplicate rows, messy strings, invalid dates, and strange categories. Okay, categories which are not expected, and noisy entries. So before you can understand what the data is telling you, okay, you need to fix these issues. So in this session, we will clean a messy customer CSV file using Python and pandas. So we will start by loading and inspecting the data, and then clean column names, handle missing values, and remove duplicates. Standardize text, we will convert data types, okay, we will validate emails and save the final clean data, okay, into a CSV file. So we will load data from a CSV file, which will be raw data, and then after performing all these steps, after cleaning the data, then we will save the final clean data into a CSV file again. Right? So step one is loading the CSV file. Okay, so the first step is to load the raw data set into pandas. So import pandas library, run this cell, import pandas as PD, and then load data from CSV file. So to read data from CSV file, you can use pd.read CSV and pass the file name. Okay, so in my system already have a, a customers.csv file, and the file's name is messy customers.csv, and pass one more parameter, keep default NA, and set it to false, and store result, okay, in an object. So let's name that object df, data frame. So this is pandas data frame. Run this cell execute successfully. Now check the data df dot head, and you can specify the number of records n equal to 10. So this df head n equal to 10 will show top 10 records. Execute this cell, and now if you see in this data, okay, we are using a customer CSV file that has the common data quality issues. Okay, there are quality issues if you see here. Okay, 200. As you can already see here, the file includes messy column names, inconsistent text formatting, mixed date formats. This is mixed date formats. This is 2024-01-15, 15/02/2024, March 3rd, 2024, right? Not a date. So these are mixed formats. And we have missing values also in this data. Here value is missing here, right? Value is missing here, value is missing here, okay? Value is missing here also, okay? So we have missing values in this data, and we have duplicate records also, duplicate rows. Okay, I'll show you. If you see here, this Bob Smith, okay? This is duplicate record. So this is exactly duplicate. This record, seventh record, this seventh record, index 6, is the exact duplicate of this second record, right? So we have duplicate rows also, and numbers stored as text, 200. So this is number 200 stored as text. So in this data, in third row, in this row where the customer ID is C003, age is missing and email ID is invalid. See, this is carol.lee@example. Okay, so that .com is not there, .com is missing. So this is invalid email ID. In fourth row, where customer ID is C004, age value is -5. This -5 is invalid. And the value for total spend is also invalid. This is unknown. Okay, unknown is not a value, it is not a number. In fifth row, okay, where the customer ID is C005, the age value is 200. Okay, this is text. And the value in the city is missing. Okay, this value for city column is missing. Right? In sixth row, where the customer ID is C006, value for join date. This join date. This is not a date. So this is invalid date. Right? And the value for this membership is missing. Okay? And seventh row, where the value is C002, this is exact duplicate row of the second row, Bob Smith. This is duplicate record. And eighth row here, where the customer ID is C007, age value is 150. Okay, this is invalid. And the value for city is NA. And ninth row here, customer ID is missing, right? And there are extra spaces in some of the column names here. I'll show you, okay, that little later. Okay, so we have this data, and this data is messy data, right? This is dirty data. So before we start data cleaning, okay, we need to understand what is actually there inside the data set, right? So first of all, okay, we can check the shape of the data. So here you can write print shape, print shape, and df dot shape. So this df dot shape, okay, will show what? The shape of the data. Run this cell. Shape of the data is 10, 8. So 10 rows and 8 columns. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 10 by 8. 10 rows and 8 columns. Next, we can check the column names. Print and then, okay, we can show df dot columns dot to list. So here we can use to list method. Run this cell, and now it is showing the columns of this data frame, of this data, right? Before and after customer ID there is one space, Okay, on leading and trailing spaces, full name, there are spaces, age, okay, this is okay. Email address, there are spaces, join date is okay, city is okay, membership is okay, and total spend is okay. Okay, but there are spaces in few columns, right? Then we can check what? We can check the data types of columns. So to check the data types of columns, we can use print and data types. And then here we can use df dot d types. D types. Run this cell and see. Okay, we can use new line character here. Okay, new line character here to show output in next line. Now see, customer ID is object type, full name is object type, age is object type, all columns are object type, right? So currently we are actually inspecting our data, right? We have not yet started cleaning. We are inspecting our data. And then in next cell, okay, we can check duplicate rows. So we can use df.duplicated.sum, okay, to check the count of duplicate records. Print exact duplicate rows, and then here we can show df dot duplicated dot sum. Run this cell. Exact duplicate rows 1. Okay. So these steps. So this gives us what? A quick overview of the data set. Okay, before making any changes. Okay, we can see that the data set has 10 rows, right, and 8 columns. The column names are messy because some of them have extra spaces. Okay, customer ID, like customer ID has extra spaces. We can also see that every column is stored as an object. Okay, every column is object type, which usually means pandas is treating them as text. Okay, pandas is treating every column as a text. The duplicate check also shows that there is one exact duplicate row. There is one duplicate row. So this is useful to know early because duplicate records can affect the final analysis. Okay, so we should always remove, okay, duplicate rows. Now, now that we know the column names are messy, okay, we will clean them first. So in step 1, we will clean these column names, right? So here to clean column names, what we can do is we can write df dot columns equals to, and now here, okay, we will write statement, okay, to clean columns. So here df dot columns dot str dot strip. Okay, so this strip method returns a copy of the string with both leading and trailing characters removed. It is primarily used for cleaning up white spaces, tabs, and new line characters from the boundaries of the text string. It means from the both the sides. Okay, from the beginning and from the end. And then after stripping removing white spaces, then we can use dot str dot lower. So it will convert all column names into lowercase. So this lower method returns a copy of the string with all characters, uppercase characters converted to lowercase, right? And then We can replace spaces also because there are spaces. Customer ID, full name, there is one space, email address. Okay. So replace, to remove these spaces, what we can do is dot str dot replace, and then we can specify here, okay, to replace what we want to replace. Okay, here we can specify use r. Okay, we will use regular expression here. Backslash s, backslash s is used for space, and plus, it means one or more spaces, and sec, it means we want to replace one or more spaces with what? Underscore. We want to replace one or more spaces with underscore, and then here we can specify, we can set regex to true, because this first parameter is regex true. Okay, because first parameter, this first parameter is, this is regex. So here we are saying that this is regex, right? So here this strip method, this method returns a copy of the string with both leading and trailing characters removed. So it is basically used for cleaning up white spaces, tabs, and new line characters, right? From the boundaries, okay, from the left side and right side. Lower, the lower method returns a copy of the string with all the characters, uppercase characters converted to lowercase. And next, this replace method, this replace method is used to replace a specified substring. So here we are saying that replace one or more spaces. Okay, so we want to replace one or more spaces with another substring. So we want to replace this with underscore, right? So this replace method is used to replace a specified substring with another substring, okay, in a string. The this parameter, the regex parameter, is a boolean value. It's a boolean parameter. If it is set to true, then it assumes that the pattern is a regex. So this pattern is a regex, right? Run the cell. Cell executed successfully, right? And now we can print column names again. Df dot columns dot toList. Run this cell, and if you see here df dot columns dot toList, it returned what? Customer ID, full name with space, and leading and trailing spaces, age, email address with space, leading and trailing spaces, join date, city, membership, total spend, and now column names are customer ID without spaces. See, so leading and trailing spaces removed, and now this customer ID is in lowercase, full name all in lowercase, this space replaced with underscore, age in lowercase, email address, this space replaced with underscore, join date in lowercase, and this space replaced with underscore, city in lowercase, membership in lowercase, and total spend, this space replaced with underscore, right? So we have removed leading and trailing spaces, we have converted column names into lowercase, and we have replaced spaces with underscore, right? So this step removes what? It removes extra spaces from the column names, converts everything to lowercase, and replaces spaces with underscores. Now the column names are much easier to work with, and now the column names are all are in lowercase. So instead of writing names with spaces like email address with space, we can simply use email underscore address all in lowercase. This makes the code cleaner and helps avoid small mistakes later, right? So in this step we have cleaned our column names. Now next we will actually replace blank values and common placeholders with proper missing values in our data, right? So let's before changing the data, let's print the data. Df dot head n equal to 10. Okay, just for reference. Okay, and if you see, column names changed, all in lowercase, and spaces replaced with underscore, right? Okay, so here df dot replace, df dot replace, and we will use a regular expression, use r and double quotes. Now specify a regular expression. So caret means beginning, use a caret for beginning, and use a dollar for ending. It means we are specifying the boundary. It means we are considering the entire value starting from the beginning to the end. So if the value is a blank space, star, it means multiple spaces, right? Zero or more spaces. Then it means empty value. It means replace this with pd dot na. Okay, now we will replace that with pd dot na, and here in third parameter we can say that we can tell it that the first parameter is a regular expression. So regex is true. Yes, this is regex. This first parameter is regex. So the parameter regex is a boolean value and we are setting it to true. Okay, if you set it to true, then it assumes that the the past pattern, the first parameter that we are passing, is a regex. Okay, run this cell, and here if you see, many values have been replaced with na. If you see here, we have na here, we have na here, here we had blank, we have na here, we had blank. Okay, so all blanks have been replaced with na. So here what we can do is we can store this in df. It means now this new df, new data frame, will be assigned to df, right? Run. Okay, next, now we have this na, right? Maybe this na is in lowercase or na without backslash, and we have unknown, right? Replace this, and we have this not a date also, not a date, right? So replace these values also with na. We have replaced spaces with na, right? Now in next step we will replace this na, na in lowercase, na without slash, this unknown, this not a date, okay, with pd dot na. So here we can write df dot replace, and then you can specify. Now using regular expression is not required. Here we use regular expression, right? We use regular expression. Here we use regular expression. Now using regular expression is not required because we know actually what we want to replace, right? We don't using a pattern is not required here. So here we want to replace what? First value is this na, right? So in double quotes n slash a, right? Now we are constructing a list of all the values, okay, which we want to replace with pd.na. Second value n small, a small in lowercase, right? Next we want to replace this unknown, copy and unknown. Next we want to replace not a date, right? And we want to replace these values with pd dot na. Run this cell, and if you see, not a date replaced with na, unknown replaced with na, right? And here n slash a, this na replaced with pdna, this is pdna, right? Then set it to df. Okay, run this cell. So we have replaced spaces with pd.na. We have replaced this na, na in small case, unknown, not a date, okay, with pd.na. And next, okay, we can check the count of na. Okay, in every column, how many nas are there, right? So df dot is na is na dot sum. So it will sum all NAs, means count of NAs, all occurrences of NAs, right? Run this cell. Now, if you see here, it is saying in customer ID there is one NA. So we should print df dot head and equal to 10. So here, this output says that in customer ID there is one NA. Yes, there is one NA. And full name there is one NA. And full name column there is one NA. And age there is one NA. And age there is one NA. Right? In email address there is no NA, right? Yes. Join date there is one NA, there is one NA in join date column. And city there are two NAs, and city 1 2 two NAs. Membership 1 NA, membership 1 NA, and total, this total spend is 1 NA and total spend is 1 NA, right? So you can use df dot is NA dot sum. It will give you the count of NAs in every column, right? So this you can use to check how many NAs are there in each column. So real world CSV files often show missing data in different ways, right? Like here, okay, it had unknown, not a date, right, and slash a. So some cells are blank, some use NA, and some use values like unknown or not a date. So we are converting here all of those values into a proper missing values. So pandas can detect them correctly, right? So after this step, it becomes easier to count, fill, or remove missing values, okay, later on. Correct? Now let's perform one more step. Removing duplicate rows. Okay, now we will remove exact duplicate rows, okay, from this data set. So print, so let's print the rows before this step. Okay, so this length of def will give us the count of rows, okay, in data frame. And then we can drop duplicate records. We can drop duplicate rows. So we can write df dot drop duplicates dot copy and assign the result to df. Run this cell and then print this again. Sorry, this is rows before and rows after. And now rows after count is 9. It means one row has been dropped. Okay. So duplicate rows can create problems in your analysis because the same record may be counted more than once. So here we had 10 rows, okay, initially before removing duplicates, and 9 rows after removing duplicates. This means one exact duplicate row has been removed from the data set, right? We will continue this topic in next session. So that's all for today. Okay, thank you for joining. See you in the next session.